welcome back to my channel. So today what we're going to be doing is a fun, colorful tutorial inspired by my new backdrop using the Saint and Sinner palette. I'll be showing you how I created this fun cut crease look. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And like this video if you're excited to see another tutorial using the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette. If you want to see this tutorial, you're in the right place and keep on watching.
Right, so first we're going to prime my eyes with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in the shade Light Warm. And to buff that in, I'm using the Morphe G34 brush. Making sure to get all the nooks and crannies, make everything nice and smooth. And for the more delicate areas, like under the brow, I'm using the Laura Mercier flat eyeliner brush actually to make sure that everything is nice and crisp under my eyebrows. Then finally, I'm going to set it with my usual shadow from the Tarte Linen Bloom palette. And using my Morphe M501 brush just to make sure everything is nice and set so that other shadows that I put on top will blend beautifully. Next we're dipping into the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette and using the shade Worship. And to apply this I'm using the Glamour Dolls collaboration with Lisa Frank eyeshadow brush. And I'm basically going to bring this color all the way from my crease to about 3/4 up to my brow bone. I'm starting out light because I don't want to add too much shadow at once. I want to make sure that everything is nice and blended, nice and smooth, and I don't have too much shadow to work with because this is a very highly pigmented palette and you want to make sure that you don't add too much. To make it easy on yourself, add a little bit at a time. I also want to note that the way I'm applying this, I'm making sure to follow the arch of my eyebrow. By doing this, I'm creating a much longer shape to my eye because I do have really round eyes. I always joke they look like golf balls basically. And by following the arch of my brow, I'm creating, like I said, a nice swoop to that eye area, which is also going to help elongate my eye along with the lashes that I'm going to be wearing later. My biggest tip for this part is to make sure just to blend everything out. Don't just apply the shadow to this area. Make sure everything is diffused up through the 3/4 of the brow area. Next we're going to go in with the shade Ministry, that blue shade, and this is going to go straight into the crease. This is going to deepen up that area, add some contrast and some fun color. And as I did with the purple shadow Worship, you want to do the same thing with Ministry where you start off light and you build up in color. You want to make sure not to add too much so everything blends beautifully. And check out that reflex on that blue. Next you're going to take a clean brush and make sure to blend everything together. So you started off with the purple color that goes about halfway to 3/4 up to the brow bone and that blue color, and by using a clean brush later on to make sure everything's blended together, it'll look diffused and flawless. Now the reason I'm now mentioning that the purple tone should be about halfway to 3/4 up to the brow bone because I have a lot of brow space, so I can afford to go 3/4 of the way up to deepen up that area. But if you have a smaller brow space and even like a larger lid, you're going to want to only go about 1/3 of the way to halfway up to your brow bone instead of going 3/4 of the way up like I did. Next, I'm taking that same flat eyeliner brush and coating my lid with that same concealer that I used earlier, the Naked Skin Concealer. This is going to make that green color really pop on my lid, and it's also going to help it stay on for a longer time during the day instead of trying to pack it on top of the shadow that we have on beforehand. And speaking of that green color, that color is called Exodus. And I'm actually using my finger to pack most of that on. And then I'm going to take a smudge brush soon to do some detail work near the crease line because I want to make sure it's nice and crisp and my big old finger doesn't mess it up. Next we're going in with the Urban Decay Razor Sharp Liner in Junk Show. And this is what's really going to create that cut crease look. So I'm basically very carefully lining that crease area with that hot pink liner. Now you have to be very careful in doing this so you don't smudge it everywhere on either on the top or on your lid, and to make sure that your eyes stay closed so that the liner has time to dry before you open your eyes. Because I learned the hard way, if you open your eyes too quick, that liner gets everywhere. So make sure you give it enough time to dry. That's why I look all weird looking at the mirror like that. And you will be good to go. And then I'm just taking a little Huggies wipe with a little makeup remover to clean up those edges a little. And the foundation you will see on my face is the Huda Beauty foundation, and if you want to learn more about that, I'm also filming a review, and the link will be down below if you want to see more about that. Next, to make our cat eye, I'm using the NYX Epic Ink Liner, which is my new favorite liner right now. And I'm going to start out with a fine line at my lash line. I like to take this nice and slow to make sure that I get a nice even line and make sure it's nice and thin. And then after that, I'm going to etch out where my cat eye would be, which is usually where I make that sharp edge with the Huggies wipe, and then I just connect the lines together and make a cat eye. Next, we're going in with the shade Vestment, and we're going to use a Luxie brush. This is like a cute little fuzzy smudgy brush looking thing. I will put in the description box exactly which one that is, but we're basically just diffusing that on the lower lash line. Next, we're going to be taking Rapture, which is that almost like a glittery type texture, which is why I'm going to be using my hands, or my finger, not my whole hand, to apply that part to the lower lash line, just because it's going to give it a nicer finish, and the brush just was not cutting it. And for clarification, the shade Rapture is going on the lower lash line, but only on that inner third corner of the under eye. Now, this is what the look should look like so far with all the shadows and liners. And we're going to finish the look off with House of Lashes Iconic Lashes.
Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch because it takes a lot of effort to make them, and I just love making them for you guys anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments if you want to see more tutorials using the Kat Von D Saint Center palette, because I am obsessed and I'm totally okay with that. And I hope to see you next time in my next video. Bye!